Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles, as always. On the show this week, we'll be reviewing our 1-0 home success over Manchester City. We'll also be reviewing our Women's Super League 2-2 draw against Manchester United. So sit back and enjoy the show. On the show this week, I'm joined by seasoned guests now at this stage and lifelong Arsenal fans. Matt Bourne, how are you, pal?
How you doing, pal? You well? Good to be back.
Good to have you back. Ed Scanlon, welcome back. Your first appearance since April, I think. How are you, pal?
Not too bad. I thought I'm now past my ban. Happy to be back.
Great to have you back, Ed. Mine is the makeup. And we're also joined by our own Arsenal Goonerette. Big fan of both the men's and women's teams. Lottie, how are you?
I'm good. It's a long weekend, very good weekend. I can't wait to get stuck into the pod, and thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, it's been there's been a few guests that have come back on week. Eamon is actually doing band practice tonight, so sadly he can't be on. But I've got 3 great guests here, Henry. So hopefully you enjoy the show. To all our listeners, we're up to 3,100 subscribers now. So thanks to each and every one of them for subscribing to our channel and for listening week on week to us as well. We kick off the show with the men's team first. Our 1-0 home success against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. It was our first win in 12 Premier League games against Man City. So the hoodoo has at last been broken. We lie in second with 20 points, just above us our unwanted neighbours, we'll call them. But come May, that will all change and they'll probably be heading for relegation. We kick into the review of the match. Just a few notes myself, lads, that I made. Particularly the first half. David Raya had a few dodgy moments with his passing out from the back, particularly in the first few moments, which led to a City corner. And Guardiola's header was brilliantly headed off the line by Declan Rice. David Raya was all over the place, in fairness, from the corner as well. And he was nearly caught out by Julian Alvarez midway through the first half. I think he was a bit shaky, I think, from the Lens match, the mistake he made that gave away the goal against Lens, and it's playing on his mind. Aaron Ramsey was looking particularly at that, I'm sure. But look, he's been fairly solid in his first few games for the Arsenal, so he's playing for a big club as well. But no disrespect to Brentford, but Arsenal are another step up from that. Other notes, key notes from the first half, Mateo Kovacic. It was a horrible lunge on Odegaard. When you look back on the replays, his ankle could have badly been broken. Luckily, he had his foot off the ground, and we saw what happened to Sheffield United's Chris Basham. And that was another. It brought back memories of Eduardo against Birmingham City, and I think sadly for Chris Basham, he'd be doing well to come back after that. But back to Kovacic, if that wasn't a red card, definitely the tackle on Declan Rice was a red card. I was looking back on the referee watch with Mike Lone and Howard Webb, and he was saying that the ref should have given the second yellow for that. So how he got away, I suppose if he hadn't been given the yellow in the first one on Odegaard, I'm sure he would have got a yellow for Rice. But that's the way it was there. And then really there was one at the end of the first half. Guardiola sent over a great cross and was just tipped away from David Raya off the head of Haaland, which could, so that was a vital intervention. And then the second half subs of Maaartinelli, Tomiyasu, Havertz and Partey all led to the winning goal. So they had a big contribution and really well. I think he used the subs at the right time. Great to see Partey back. Bit of luck, I suppose, with the deflection of Aki. But I think we've defended really well against Man City, limited them to very few really clear-cut chances. I think they missed Rodri and De Bruyne big time. I think they're missing really Riyad Mahrez and Gundogan as well. There, City, they're not at the strength. They will be there come the end of the season, but I think they are beatable. When they're missing big players. I thought personally,
Haaland was missing apparently.
yeah, he hasn't been at. He scored 8 goals already. Yeah, but he was kept quiet on
Saliba's pocket.
I thought Saliba and Gabriel played great at the back. And I thought it was the atmosphere at the stadium looked absolutely class again. And 1-0 against City, and another clean sheet as well for us, and we're not conceding City goals. I thought the game plan worked really well. I know you were at the game, Matt, yourself. What did you make of the game from being there?
It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Like I described, it was like a dogfight from start to finish. We competed with them for everything. We didn't. You expecting a game against City, like what happened last season, I suppose, at home, where they took over in the game. And they gave us a good L beating last season. We competed with them for everything on Sunday. It was absolutely phenomenal performance. We're right up there now. We're one of the best teams in the Premier League, playing the best team in the world and compete with them. We had some really good spells. City had some really good spells, but it was a dogfight. It was absolutely fantastic to see Arsenal playing like that. I think Arteta got everything right when it came to tactics. We were missing Saka, which was a huge blow for us. But I think Gabriel Jesus did a phenomenal job. Out of position, he held the ball up brilliant. He's not going to do what Saka can do. He's not going to cut inside. He's not going to do what Saka can do like that in that position. But he was brilliant. I thought in the first half, Eddie made some fantastic space, but he wasn't getting the ball because you're playing City. They're a very, very tough side to play. They're going to shut us down like we were shutting them down. But our defense was phenomenal. Is there a better centre back partnership in the world? In world football, they're like Saliba and Gabriel are just phenomenal. They just play off each other fantastically. They know what the other guy is doing all the time. You got Declan Rice running the midfield. He was absolutely brilliant. Haaland didn't get a sniff. You don't see that in the game. Haaland will always have 3 or 4 or 5 really good chances in the game. He got nothing. It was absolutely brilliant. And plus, which I loved, the substitutions obviously combined, the 4 of them combined to score the goal. It was Partey to Tomiyasu to Havertz to Martinelli to score. There's your 4 subs. That's perfection when it comes to tactics. It really is. It was, and that doesn't happen all the time. But he got everything right. It was a beautiful, beautiful performance. A beautiful day. Weather was great. And I remember saying to somebody after about the obviously the Angel, North London Forever is just a phenomenal anthem. And when they played that after the result, there wasn't one person in that crowd who wasn't singing along. It was just everybody was there. Everybody felt it. The passion in the stadium was amazing. Outside the stadium after was amazing. Everything just went fantastic. And it was a great day to be an Arsenal fan. But look, we are up there with City. There's no doubt about it. We can compete with City. Yes, we're going to have some results like, Fulham at home and Tottenham at home. I thought we'd absolutely kill Tottenham. They're after improving somewhat. But come the end of the season, if we keep the attitude that we've got and we keep doing what we're doing, we will absolutely be right up there with City. We're not gonna finish. We finished 5 points behind City last season, and we scored as many goals we scored 5 or 6 goals less than them last season. We're scoring from all over the pitch. We don't have a Haaland, but we've got a Saka and an Odegaard and a Martinelli who are going to get you 15 goals a season each. Jesus, hopefully if he hits some form as well, might get you 15, 20 goals if he stays fit and everything else. But look, lads. It was absolutely phenomenal. I suppose my biggest qualm at the moment would be David Raya. I think he's brilliant when it comes to crosses and set pieces. He's great in the air when it comes to these things, but his distribution has been terrible since he came in. I think Ramsdale.
Do you think Matt? Sorry, cutting across you. Do you think that's Nair's paying for a big club like Arsenal? Do you think the step up is, he knows he's being watched now more? And
I think to be honest, I really feel for Ramsdale. Ramsdale did, goalkeepers make mistakes. Ramsdale made some mistakes last season, like the Bournemouth early goal against Bournemouth last year, stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, Ramsdale gets that ball and he gets it to a player.
Yeah.
David Raya is inclined to get it to the touchline or up to their keeper, or he's not as good with distribution. He's great with handling. Ramsdale to me is a better shot stopper. He's proven it. He's up there for the Ballon d'Or of goalkeepers in a couple of weeks, which he could win, and there he is sitting on our bench, But I do like Raya. I'm not criticizing him. I think when he gets I think he acts a bit cocky sometimes when it comes to when he gets the ball back to him. He kind of holds on to it too long, and he tries to be a bit too smart, and then he doesn't distribute the ball properly. But listen, I don't want to criticize anybody. I think there was 11 players in the pitch on Sunday who wanted to win that game. We were due to beat City at some stage anyway, and the way they performed, the tactics Arteta got, absolutely perfect, and I think everything worked out brilliantly. I can't fault a player aside from the bit of distribution, but we absorbed everything. We competed for every ball, and the other thing is when we scored our goal, we didn't do what we do a lot of the time, which was sit back and absorb the pressure and try to hold on to that 1-0 lead. We actually kept going at them, we actually kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I never felt we looked in danger. And the stats will tell you that. They had 1 shot on target. They had 4 shots in the whole game. Our defense was so good. Everybody just put in the shift of their lives, and it was phenomenal day, and it to be a gooner.
Yes, 1-0 to the Arsenal. I think psychologically to beat Manchester City at last after 12 attempts, and to win without Bukayo Saka will do the team a world of good,
But we need to learn to win without Bukayo Saka. And a massive shout out to Jorginho. Jorginho was phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant. And I remember he made a mistake there. He gave away the goal against Tottenham. Well, he gave away the ball. Got the goal for Tottenham in midfield. And, he came out after, apologised to the fans and the whole lot. And he put on the shift of his life on Sunday. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. No, really, really good. Very, very happy at the moment. It's good. And by the way, Jonathan, just to pull you up on this, you said we're second behind Tottenham. We're level on points with Tottenham and goal difference. We're actually pretty much top. Let's be honest. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we lost the league on goals scored. So, we won the league on goals scored once. So, Tottenham are there at the moment with
it. Yeah.
A good feeling. It's our 20th anniversary of the Invincible season. And it'd be great to go unbeaten even this, it'd be quite an achievement. And what an achievement it was, because one City lose a game, that's another season that we can hold on to. Who's your man of the match, Matt, from Sunday?
Okay, so I know Rice got it from Arsenal, and Martinelli got it from the TV. I'm going to say, for me, between Jorginho and Jesus, I think I'm going to give it to Jesus. I think he was absolutely brilliant. He put in an amazing shift down that side, and he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to give it to Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah, I'm still deciding on mine. There was one game where every one of them played out of their skin. Yeah. I don't want to come to our UK-based schooner, Lottie. What did you make of the performance on Sunday?
Do you know what? If we were going to beat them at any point, it was going to be this time. No Kevin De Bruyne. No, Rodri. Thank you for the early presidency. Absolutely perfect. But yeah, no, this was the ideal opportunity, and it's also proved we can function without Saka. We rely on that kid so much. He needs to just stop. But it just shows we can function without him. We're not relying on that right hand side all the time. And it's really great to see. The shift they put in was brilliant. I had a bit of a difficult game because I was right on the rail next to the away fans, so that was fun. I had them at me up for full time, so which was great. All holding their little phones up with their Champions League trophy. I'm like, nah, it's 1-0 to us. Go away. It was more so the like the little self-entitled kids than the adults, but yeah, no, it was good. It was a really good game. It was just nice to see us to put up a fight, and it's not like if you look back at past games. I think the last time we won at home was a Theo Walcott 2-1 win, 2015.
8 years ago, yeah, 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3-1. Yeah, no,
just bad. 8 years.
It was mental, and it kind of meant more to us at the time. I kind of just had to like crash on the floor, like, oh my god, we've done it. I just in utter disbelief because you get to those final minutes, and we know what quality City have as a side, and to keep them out is just brilliant. I mean, I think Saliba's still got Haaland in his pocket with his keys and his wallet. But it was brilliant to see. After it's been so long since we've been. This is normally a fixture I miss, but because we beat Liverpool on my birthday last year 3-2, I thought, you know what, we can nick this, and we did. I'm so happy. I did actually call it about 12:15 in the afternoon on social media, so I'm quite a little bit smug at the moment.
Yeah, I saw that actually. Yeah.
When Martinelli scored, though, the goals are being celebrated like I've never seen before. You know, the stadium just goes absolutely mental. You know,
we're getting criticised for that.
Yeah, Gary, are you listening?
Are we meant to sit there and be quiet? I'm sorry, but no, it's not going to happen.
There's a different energy, though, Lottie. You know, like from your generation as well. There's a new generation of Gooners fans I've never seen before. They're so excited. You know, I just haven't seen this excitement over the last couple of years. But you know, it really is great to see. Like,
I know, absolutely.
You know, yeah.
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, you must see a lot of your generation.
I do.
With the women's team, the ARSENAL men and women's team, there's an excitement, isn't there? There, like on both sides.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's more so the newer ones that are coming through in their early 20s. They've never seen anything like this. Whereas my age group are they're just sport brats. They expect stuff. I don't, but they just expect stuff. They expect better. That is the main conversation. And it's like all football clubs go through a life cycle. We've just been stuck at that stage where we don't know what we're doing. But now we're slowly seeing what Edu and Arteta have planned, and it's just the atmosphere in and around the ground is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, from the pubs to the grounds to the concourse, it's just completely different. I know with the blocks where I sit, occasionally Arsenal bring in all these music people and all of that, but the fans are that loud, they've removed them.
Yeah, we were actually sitting beside the Ashburton Army, and we were louder than the Ashburton Army. You know, I mean, but it takes because you have them there and they're banging the drum, and you know the whole crowd is starting songs and they're joining into the crowd sometimes as opposed to starting to chant. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
With them, they have their own songs, but they don't put it across social media so people can actually pick it up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like the Saliba one. That's Bournemouth away every year. We have a brand new song that catches fire, and not Saliba. What am I talking about? Kai Havertz. Saliba both started there.
I can't make out the chant from the telly. What way does it go to Kai Havertz?
It goes waka waka.
We let you sing it, Lottie.
Hang on. Samnamna, waka waka, 60 billion down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. We were belting that out beforehand as well. I had Sky Sports with the camera in my face at Spurs. It was a nightmare. So it was like zooming in on my face, me screaming my head off. So I didn't have tickets, but I still went down to the toilet and because I'm there nearly every day. Even if I don't have tickets, they let me in. So and I'm usually in there screaming my head off.
Yeah, I have to say it was a nice birthday present for you as well. 1-0.
Oh, absolutely, a day early, but I was out anyway. I was like, nope, I'm out now. Not going to work for the next 2 days. Let's go.
Yeah.
Who was your man of the match, Lottie? From the game?
Jorginho.
Yeah, good show.
Jorginho, absolute shifting. He was brilliant. With him, we can't expect him to be perfect all the time. It goes the same for any player on that pitch. They will make mistakes, and they're human. But it seems with our fan base, we just criticise and penalise them for that single mistake. And then you look at the turnaround that Jorginho's had in this game. It's like all of a sudden, all is forgiven. Yeah. That's what I see. That's what I see. But the thing is, for me at the moment, there's too many FIFA managers that want to do this, want to do that. They want to bring this person in, and it's just like they're nice opinions, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been a good signing though since January. Yeah, he puts in a shift. Yeah.
I get really excited when he comes on, especially if Kai Havertz is on the pitch, because Havertz seems to settle down with him, and it's just like he plays a lot better with Jorginho on that pitch.
Yeah, he's starting to settle down a bit, Kai Havertz, in an Arsenal jersey, isn't he? Certainly, I think that assist for Martinelli, I think, will do him the world of good as well. And obviously, scoring a penalty against Bournemouth, he should get a bit more confidence again, because it seemed shattered from last season at Chelsea. We didn't see the real Kai Havertz, but hopefully we're starting to see the real one now. You've been waiting 6 months, Ed, and 20 odd minutes to get your say in. Welcome back to the show. What did you make of the 1-0 victory against City, Ed?
It was amazing. It was amazing how calm it was.
Yeah,
I've just been watching the game before we came on the Arsenal.com with David Hillier commenting, and I think it was Aidan Clark was doing the tactics, and listening to it without a hype of Sky Sports or BBC Match of the Day, and just hearing the fans and just a sensible commentary it was so controlled.
Yeah.
I think we're beginning to see where Arteta is getting at. He doesn't have to explain his master plan to us, but my God, there is sense in what he's doing. There is something there that Arteta has a vision, and we might have seen the beginning of what he's going at, because this is the first time he's nearly had the team he wanted to put out there from the start. He might have put on Partey instead of Jorginho. He would have put Saka, Gabriel Jesus on the right. That was absolutely stunning. Matt, you're absolutely bang on that. It was so controlled. I mean, our midfielders just were midfielders, as Johnny Giles would say. The back line was just immaculate. And you were just watching the system. You can stop and rewind on the website. It was like watching the Duke of Wellington at Waterloo. The red lines were. It was the discipline and perfection, and there was no panic. I mean, I've seen many times when Arsenal have nicked, ground out a 1-0 win, nicked a 1-0 win. That 1-0 win was, carved out of stone. I mean, it was just controlled. I mean, the stats that Haaland had nothing, 0.00 xG, and that, as Lottie says, that came from the midfield as much as the defense, because he had nothing. I mean, what's his name? The big hype, Foden. Yeah, I have to look at my notes because I couldn't even remember his name because he didn't even show up on the pitch. He didn't. Nothing. And they can complain that they had a couple of injuries. City, they can screw off. I mean, they shouldn't even be in the league. They should be out there with Barcelona. Kicking the football in the park because we banned for life, but that's not going to happen either. But so they had two players out. We had our best player, out as well, and injuries. It was absolutely immaculate. What else did I have on apart from rant? Raya, dodgy at the beginning. Yeah, I mean our system. That was the highest high presses City put into us. There were nearly actually beyond the goal line with the press on us, and we managed to contain it. We understood it the most. That was the amazing thing, that we understood what City were doing to us, and we countered it and outplayed them and out tic-tacted them. It was the best football performance against City, I think, since Sandy Carsola's 2-0 at the Etihad. I mean, the only thing is, who would you replace in the current team? Nobody. But if Washington Szczesny wanted to come back as a goalkeeper in a heartbeat, ahead of the current two, but nothing against them. They're young and they're learning. The only thing I'd say was maybe Arteta could show a little bit more rotation in the two positions. Is he showing Ramsdale enough of a chance to redeem himself to get back in?
I heard somebody having a debate on the train, and they were saying that there's a lot of talk that they're going to start bringing Ramsdale back in for the away games and Raya for the home games, and obviously Ramsdale for the cups and Raya for the Champions League and so on. Does it make sense? I don't know. Would I swap either of them for Szczesny? I'd swap Raya for Szczesny. I wouldn't swap Ramsdale for the world. I think Ramsdale is an unbelievable keeper. I think he's, like you said, he's young.
Yeah, he's certainly likable. I mean, he's and maybe he's just a little bit young and just not mature. Maybe he's just not quite mature yet, but
maybe
a long career for a goalkeeper.
Listen, what Ramsdale's done in the last couple of years, to be honest with you, he came from a couple of relegations in a row, basically, and came to Arsenal and set down the stall, and he got us to the Champions League. He was part of the team that got us to the Champions League, and I was kind of a bit annoyed when he didn't get the nod for the Champions League game. For both the Champions League games, I just thought that he deserved it. He got us there, and he should have been starting them games. Now, I'm not. Listen, we can't doubt Arteta anymore. With what he's done and the way he's made this team play, the way he's integrated players, and the way he's been ruthless. Getting rid of players like Aubameyang and Ozil, and people who were causing trouble in the ranks. He's straight away. He's ruthless. He gets rid of them. I don't think there's an issue with Ramsdale. I don't think Ramsdale was causing any trouble. I just think he wanted to put something competitive into that position as well. And he's given Raya the nod. Raya has done okay. I thought Raya, for instance, against Everton was brilliant. But we weren't under any pressure against Everton, And we controlled that game against Everton and did what we had to do to get the victory. We knew we had to do, unlike what we did last season. We went there and we let them control. We let Everton control the game, and we got beaten. When we played Everton away from home this year, we controlled the game like we controlled against City the weekend.
The only dangerous team that Arsenal have played this season is Arsenal. We're our own. We're the only danger to ourselves. Apart from that, we're absolutely stunning.
But we haven't played brilliant either. We haven't hit the heights that we hit last season. We've dogged our way through. We've played 8 games in the league. We've dogged our way through 4 of them, but we haven't hit the heights we hit last season, where we're beating teams 4-0, where we're completely dominating games. I thought, just on a side point, I thought Odegaard. What I always said, and I've said it before on podcast, Jonathan, is when Odegaard and Saka play, Arsenal play. When they get that connection going that they have, we are phenomenal. And Odegaard without Saka and Saka without Odegaard, it wouldn't be the same, But Odegaard adapted there, and so he had to do it. He had to play differently. He had to really fight, without Saka there, because yourself, they play on the wing there. Ben White behind Saka is phenomenal. Ben White and Saka connect really well, and Odegaard and Saka connect really well. Odegaard had to put on a different performance than he usually puts on. He had to put in a dogfighter performance on Sunday to help the team, and he did, But for a player who goes in, week out, for 2 players, Odegaard and Saka, play together week in, week out, all of a sudden for that to change and for to put in a performance like he did on Saturday as well, or on Sunday, is a testament to him and testament to Arteta, how he's got them to adapt to different circumstances as well, like the Everton game, to go there and to fight a different game to make sure we didn't get beaten, you know. And he's I think that's a brilliant trait to have, to be able to adapt to different styles and different matches. It was absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's growing in every game, Odegaard, isn't he? Into
He's
a great choice as a captain. You know, you can see the players around him follow. And yeah, I thought he nullified the City's midfield. Kovacic and Rico Lewis, they didn't really trouble us at all. They're not a Rodri or De Bruyne at all. And Calvin Phillips looks like he's non-existent there, you know.
And I think we would have beaten them. I think the way we played it, we would have beaten them with De Bruyne and Rodri. You know. I think over
the last 2 or 3 seasons we are matching Man City now, Ed, aren't we? We are.
Yeah, I mean, some people said that they were happy that Kovacic stayed on the pitch, because we haven't discussed that. Only because it beating them 11 against 11 or 11 against 12, as it was, for 13, was more of a moral win, you know, because they would have been talking about match of the day all night long if Kovacic got sent off. I mean, how the hell Danny Murphy could think that was a fair
fucking hell.
I mean, staggering. But actually, it was worse than Michael Oliver wasn't the worst official. Yeah.
I know.
The linesman was worse.
When I heard Danny Murphy say what he said, I just thought, it's ridiculous. Listen, when the incident happened, you know, all the crowd instantly jump up and they're like, "Oh, it's got to be a red," you know. And then I said to the guy sitting beside me, I said, "Don't worry, it's going to go to VAR. If it's a red, it'll be a red." And of course, it came up on the screen that it was gone to VAR and everything else. But I thought the referee should have at least been asked to go to the screen to have a look at it himself, you know. But whatever about that. Forgetting about that, you know, he gave a yellow, and sometimes you give a yellow for something like that. After the second foul, if he hadn't been booked, he was getting a yellow there. There's no doubt about it. And for Oliver to stand back and hold his arms out like this and go, no, stop, forget about it.
Yeah.
That is bullshit. You know, that is VAR not working the way it should. You know, they need to introduce at some stage, they need to introduce the rugby format. I think Eamon mentioned it last week about it. How you know, to put it up on the screen, listen, let the crowd listen to what they're saying, you know, let them be liable for what they're saying. And it has to happen. It has to happen, because regardless of what way you look at it, that's a disgraceful decision not to send him off. The same referee who last season or season before sent off Martinelli like that for 2 incidents, seconds after the other. 7 seconds between 2 incidents and Martinelli gets sent off, right? Now, last season when Martinelli did that, I thought he's going to get sent off because there's 2 fouls there. But there was a potential red and a yellow in that sequence with Kovacic, and it should have been a sending off. There's no doubt about it. The excuses are gone. They can't be making excuses anymore about these things. They just can't, you know?
It's not working, no. There's so much inconsistency, and there's so much nerves with the refs.
But that's the problem, Jonathan, right? You're saying it can't be happening. They need things like VAR. They need things like VAR in football. If they work properly, they need them. But they have to work properly. And they can't be, you know, sending off a guy 1 week and not sending off a guy the next week for the same thing. They've got to get consistency. And they've got to answer for it as well, you know? I remember hearing Mark Halsey during the week, an ex-Premier League referee, and I'd look at some of his stuff, some of his articles now and again. He was a very, very good referee, and you know, he said, you know, he was saying it's an absolute disgrace that this is happening, but they need to have referees that are. I don't know if you saw the thing on Sky Sports last week, on Sky Sports Soccer Saturday with Paul Merson and Mike Dean. Did you see that incident where Paul Merson was saying that you need to get players involved and everything else? You know, and Mike Dean shot him down straight away. I mean, this can't be happening. These are, you know, there's no retrospective apart from that VAR guy won't be on VAR next week, but he'll be back the week after. You know, it's just not right. It shouldn't be that case. Like what happened to us against Brentford last season with the offside goal from Tony. I was there at that game, and I could see it was offside, but they didn't draw a line. You know, I mean, that's ridiculous. That cannot happen in if you're bringing this technology in, like goal line technology. You know, that can't happen. They have to get these things right. And the more mistakes they make like this, people are just going to say no more VAR. You know, people are going to turn on everybody because of it, and the consistency is horrendous. But I think we need the technology. It's there for a reason, but for whatever reason, you know, the inconsistency is unbelievable week in, week out. It's got to stop. You know,
and it's on the cost teams in terms, as Eamon said last week.
Yeah,
it's on the cost championships.
Yeah, relegations, everything.
Relegations, you know, like 1 week a ref could be reffing a match, the next week he'd be up in VAR. Like there has to be just a set team week in, week out just doing why retired referees. I think they should go for in the VAR room. Don't have match day officials that are refereeing every week, because they're going to get the brunt of it, and then they're going to make a bad decision on the day, and then you know, I think football is just such a fast-moving sport. There probably isn't room for it. You know, there's so much emphasis on the Premier League than other leagues. It's watch more. You know, decisions are watch more. You know, and like if that, you know, fans get very, you know, could end up resulting in something bad for the referee. You know,
yeah, but maybe I'm wrong. But VAR is used in every country. You know, for football, yeah.
I think it's more inconsistent, Matt, in the Premier League and other league. I don't know what that is.
But I don't hear any incidents. Yeah, but I don't hear any incidents from other leagues about this amount of inconsistency.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't hear it. You don't hear that from Barcelona and Real Madrid, we had a game, and it was a terrible decision, blah, blah, blah. Now, maybe we're just not hearing it, but you know, just the amount of inconsistency in the Premier League, there's something wrong. There's absolutely something wrong that needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed now, because like you say, you're talking about European competition. You're talking about clubs getting relegated and losing out on a Europa League place or a Champions League place because of a stupid decision, you know. And this is it. You know, who's to say against Brentford last year when they didn't rule Tony offside for that goal? Who's to say if we didn't win that game that we could have went on and it could have pushed us on to win a title? Like, you know, this is the thing, right? Fair enough. You know, you look at the Southampton game last year and the West Ham game and that, where we and the Liverpool game, we had opportunities to win the games and that. But who's to say if we had won that game 1-0 that it wouldn't actually spur us on to really push ourselves more on that? You know, it does affect teams. It does affect. Financially, is huge, absolutely huge for clubs when it comes to things like that. You know, so look, I hope they get it right, but I think it needs the technology. I think we still need the technology.
It's not the technology is the problem; it's the people using it, and it's you've got PGMOL who are unfit. I mean, in any other business, as a company supplying a service, they're not fit. They're just not fit for purpose. I mean,
yeah.
You look at the diversity. You know, look at the governance. Look at the control. You know, it's Mike Riley's little drinking club in Manchester. There's something seriously wrong with it. You know, no offense, Matt, but it's, you know, a bunch of middle-aged baldy guys, you know, with chips on their shoulders. You know, it's just.
I think Eamon might take offence to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little clique from Manchester. I mean, they've all got track records of being biased.
Yeah.
And you know, just look at I mean, I could say worse. I mean, there's some borderline prejudices there. The lack of protection that Saka gets. He's assaulted every week. Even Bournemouth were kicking lumps out of him, and ripping his, right in front of a linesman, right in 5 meters away from you could, and there's no reaction. There's no protection, and that's England's best player, maybe himself and Bellingham. So there's something psychologically, at the very least, wrong, or I would say even worse wrong. And I'm not saying it's corruption. I'm saying it's just plain old bias. And also, where was Michael Oliver midweek? out in the UAE. Getting a check from UAE for a match, but in any other business, you declare a conflict of interest. You say, I can't referee Man City on Sunday. I've just got a check from them.
Yeah.
And that's it's just something wrong there.
I think that what annoyed me is, I don't know whether Lottie agrees well, the way Michael Oliver just dismissed the second foul on Declan Rice. He went like that. No way. He didn't even bother going to the VAR or fuck all. It was like, I guarantee you, if that was from Declan Rice and he was on a yellow card, it would have been, here you go, second yellow, red, and gone. I think Arsenal, a lot is taken out in this from referees over. I think we're probably the most hit club with bad decisions.
Yeah. Well, Mike Dean used to practice in the mirror with his card holding before Arsenal games. Gabriel Jesus got the lumps kicked out of him on Sunday. On the wing. And nothing there.
Nothing there. But look, at the end of the day, we came out with 3 points, and we'll take that any day of the week. Your man of the match from Sunday.
Gabriel Jesus would be on any. Yeah, there's so many good. Probably just Saliba, because he didn't even break sweat. Between him and Gabriel in defense, just the control and domination there, and just without even making it look like there was even a challenge. That was superb. And everybody else was nearly, just as good. But yeah, I'll give it to Saliba. Just slightly ahead. Just having Haaland in your pocket is an achievement.
Yeah, 100%. That. And how we missed him against City at the Etihad in April is huge. From we've beaten them in the Community Shield and now in the league, so it is there's improvement there against the bigger sides now from Arteta. And I thought, as Matt said earlier on, that he got his tactics and game plan spot on. I'd probably give mine to Martin Odegaard. I thought he nullified City's midfield, and he's been superb. He goes under the radar, but I don't think he gets enough acknowledgement really, but what a player, and what a captain. And that leads us 11 points to Spurs, 20 points each, and our next fixture is away to Chelsea on the 21st, and that's going to be another big one. Chelsea are coming into a bit of form as well, but that's going to be another big game for us. 5:30 on Saturday evening, so I'll see you on the River Bar.
You coming in? Yeah, we'll see you there.
Fingers crossed we win there. We move on to Lottie's favourite part of the show, the Arsenal women's team. Match day 2 was on Friday evening, a cracking game, 2-2 draw away to Man United. Galton and Mallard scored for United women's team, and Blackstenius and Lacasse, who scored an absolute worldie in the 93rd minute. What a way. Very fitting, if not to win the game with a goal like that. But yeah, what a performance and what a goal. Few notes. There was Noah Zinsberg in goal. It was D'Angelo, and she kind of, she made 2 bad errors. One for the first goal, where she completely mishit it, and then for the second goal, she kind of hesitated to come out for it. Probably a bit of nerves, maybe. I don't know. But if he's going to rotate like Arteta is doing with the men's team, it could be, if Zinsberg was looking on and say she'd be happy enough, she might be in on Sunday against Aston Villa. I've heard that there's over 30,000 tickets sold for this one at the moment, and I'm sure it's going to be another sellout, but it looks I thought Catley's pass to Blackstenius for the opening goal for us was brilliant, and Blackstenius really used her strength to finish off nicely past Mary Earps. Really great goal. Obviously United's equalised then was a goalkeeping howler, and Galton just tucked away into an empty net. Russo against her former club had a few chances as well. She had a header well saved by Mary Earps, England's number 1, and then she had another shot which Earps saved with her foot. And then she was unlucky with a shot that hit the post. So she had a go. I thought she had a good game. Rose, she was being booed by the United supporters nearly every time, but she took it well. I thought she played really well through that, and she's going to be some striker, isn't she? She's proved to be United over the years, and she had a great World Cup as well with England. Mallard scored then on her debut, as I said earlier. D'Angelo, the keeper, just hesitated, and in the 93rd minute, Chloe Lucas scored a worldie. I say the men's team were jealous of that. Mary Earps, not a chance, grasping at thin air, and well deserved point for the Arsenal, because we lost 1-0 to Liverpool at home. So I thought with Aston Villa now, that's going to be another cracking game. Villa are a good side in themselves. Lottie, were you at the match on Friday evening? What did you make of it?
Oh no, I wasn't. I was down in London in the pub. In my usual spot in the toilet, and as I said, I live there. No, it's one of those games. It's at the point where when you look at the WSL, Tottenham have never beat us. We've got no fierce rival, and that fierce rivalry is with Man United. Obviously, we took Russo on a free, which was absolutely brilliant. So they come in with an offer way too late, and they're still very much bitter about it. But as the games grows, that you're going to get stuff like that happen, and there is going to be that animosity, and that's what you kind of want. We can't be friends all the time, although the whole thing around women's football most of the time is family orientated. But as it grows, you are going to get fans who come up like myself that have come across from the men's game into the women's game, and boom, Russo kind of expected it. Their fans are so unclassy, so it just kind of expected it. But there was obviously a lot of the fans up there that were happy to see her come back, and we're just happy to see her happy. Do you know what I mean? It's not everybody. You can't rebrand them with that. But the first goal, Stina, didn't expect that much speed to come out of her so quickly. I'm just glad Mary Earps was too slow to get down to that, because normally she's a really great shot stopper, and she'll clean that up nicely. As for Lucas's goal, we were all sitting there. Shortly after Russo's off the post, I'd actually thought that had gone in, but unfortunately I wasn't watching clearly. We all got the whole pub kind of sat there, like it curled in. I thought it had gone wide, so everyone's just sitting there quietly. And then the replay comes on, and then you see the ball curl into the corner and come just loop around Mary Earps and go in. We just literally erupted. I mean, Chloe Lucas has arrived. We've seen what she could do in the Champions League qualifier, where although we lost, she was absolutely brilliant. She was played out of position at Liverpool, which was very odd because we had Frida up on that right wing. I never want to see that again, as I've said to you before. But she came. She's absolutely brilliant. It was very, very much Beth Mead-esque in the way her performance is, and it's kind of. I know Beth's coming back, but she's got someone that's going to challenge her for that number one spot. We're so heavy on the rotation at the moment. You don't know what team you're going to get. But this performance was a massive improvement from the last two games that I've watched. And I want to continue growing on that. We've got our first point of the season. Not ideal, but we can afford one more loss for the rest of the season, and that's it. So it's going to be a very long season.
What did you make of D'Angelo's performance? Do you think it was nerves, or do you think
Do you know what? I am firmly going to defend her, because she back early in the year when we had that semi-final against Man City, we played the 90 minutes plus the extra half hour where we got our 1-0 win.
Yeah.
She was the one in goal. She kept Bunny Shaw quiet. This is her third start ahead of Sinsberger. The last game before this game, she started at Tottenham down at Brisbane Road. She let a penalty in, but to be fair, if you look at the state of that pitch, even I wouldn't go and try and save that ball. Like, the floor was solid. It was just mud. Yeah. It was horrible. When you look at the angles and things like that, you can see that her line of sight is not exactly clear anyway. As I said, every keeper's not perfect, but when you have a game like Manu did the game before, you've got to test out an alternative to Manu Zinsberger. Manu Zinsberger's been our number one for so long. We know her contract's coming to an end. We know she wants to move on. We've got to start looking for other options of who can replace her. Obviously, we haven't got Mary Earps, but we know that story. She's coming free at the end of the summer next year, hopefully. And then that would be just absolutely glorious. Or we'll get her in January. It's one of the two. She's made it clear she wants to leave. And it's since been revealed we were the higher bidder. So we know she's coming. We just have to wait. So testing the rotation doesn't kill anybody. And I'm not enjoying the amount of grief and criticism that she's got over one game.
Yeah.
It's really unfair considering she got us to that semi-final. She got us through that 90 minutes plus the extra half an hour, and then we got into that final and we went on to beat Chelsea at Crystal Palace. This ground. And she needs another chance, but I don't think it's going to be ideal against Villa.
Yeah.
Because you've got the likes of Ebony Salmon coming. You've got Rachel Daly. We saw what she could do last season. She single-handedly won the Golden Boot, kept Bunny Shaw out of it completely, because normally it goes to Sam Kerr or Bunny Shaw. But now Rachel Daly's returned to the UK from the US. It's an open game, and I trust Jonas to choose the right keeper for Sunday, but I'd have to go with Sabrina again, just to give her one more chance, just for her shot stopping, and her distribution is so much better than Manu's for me personally as well.
I think being at home against Villa as well, I think could do her the world of good, having the home fans behind her, And as you say, look Araya and the Ramsdale, the keepers make mistakes, and you can't go on one game, and United, I have to say it was a really enjoyable watch. I watched it from start to finish. I've kind of taken more of an interest, to be honest, in the women's game since we done so well in the Champions League last year. But the standards and the fitness levels are just incredible, and the Arsenal team, they seem to keep going to the end.
At the moment, for me so far this season, I'm shocked the amount of red cards we've had in the last two match days. It's so incredible. Unless you're Katie McCabe, you're not getting a red card.
Yeah. Do you think they're too eager to, do you think that's where the red cards come? They're those too passionate, going in?
I don't. I've looked back at one or two, and I'm thinking that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
I think Alex Greenwood was harsh. That was just ridiculous, and City still beat Chelsea. Yeah. There's a question of how much has Emma Hayes paid someone. For me personally,
she's not a likable person, Emma Hayes.
Yeah,
no. Yeah. I forgot what Eamon said. Both Eamon's once said on one of our WSL shows. Both sets of fans and managers are equally as annoying as each other.
Those Chelsea.
For Chelsea, yeah, they're equally as annoying, and it applies to Man United as well. But with Man United women fans, some of the fans are so self-entitled because of the men's sort of heritage, but the women don't have that. And unfortunately for them, the Glazers have liquidized them twice and got rid of them and bought them back, etc. And they don't have the same sort of prestige as their men's team. So
I've got gravy in my fridge that's older than Man United's women's team.
What did you make of Russo's game against United? Lottie, I thought she played really well, didn't she? She came through the boost.
Definitely. It definitely showed, because every time she got the ball, there's about 3 or 4 of them on her. They don't know how to deal with her. They know what she's got in her locker, and they still probably, from like training sessions, they can't shut her down. And it was great to see. I mean, her goal is coming, but it's just a question of when and where, I should say. And she just gives 110% every single game, and that's why we wanted her. That is exactly why we wanted her. It's just a case of once she gets that one goal, and she's off. Yeah,
she was unlucky actually. She had a few attempts in the second half, as well. Who stood out for you in the game, Lottie?
Sorry, player of the game. Chloe Class. The goal of Chloe Class. That was it for me. I've had my Stella McCartney shirt blank, and I've now officially got my first player for it now. So I was just waiting. I was going to do Stina Black Dennis, but I've already got one of those. So
I have to say I'm loving the away kit. It's a really nice kit.
Yeah, no, it's different. For Stella McCartney is actually all right compared to the stuff we had last season, and it's nice to see us actually have our own kit away from the men's. Yeah. Although we do as a club, we do go on about one club mentality, but it's nice to have something that's just ours. if that makes sense.
Something different. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unique to the women's team. Yeah, I think we've won our goal of the month competition as well for October for the men's and women's. It'd be hard to beat Lacasta's goal. It'd be very hard.
Yeah, no,
What a finish!
It depends if Kate McCabe wants a worldie or not. That's the question. You know what she's like with her goals.
Especially from corner kicks. Yeah,
She's saving them for the Republic at the moment. But...
Yeah.
Yes. How do you see? It's going to be a good game. I think Aston Villa as well. Aston Villa are a good team as well. I've been watching them in the last couple of weeks. How do you see the game going on Sunday, Lottie?
It's anyone's game at this point. Villa again have recruited really well.
Yeah.
Ebony, as I said, Ebony Salmon's returned from Houston Dash. She's got that striker relationship with Rachel Daly already, so that should be good. They've got no Hansen, which is going to be very, very key because she got red card first game of the season. Hansen is their playmaker. She sort of pulls all their strings, and I didn't get to see their game over the weekend because I was at the City game, but it'll be interesting to see how they play at the Emirates because they do play at Villa Park on a regular basis. So it's really quite exciting because we're evenly matched, whereas the Liverpool women, they don't get to play on their men's ground as often as, like, say, Arsenal do, whereas Villa, Arsenal, we're evenly matched in the amount of experience we have on the men's pitches as to our smaller pitches that we play on for our local clubs that we play on. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, Jordan Nobbs is coming back home. Don't see her starting, unfortunately. She's back in that position where she can't get a sniff in the starting lineup with Villa, unfortunately. But the game's going to be really good. It should again be electric. I'll be screaming my head off for 90 minutes. Hopefully won't get told to be quiet again as well.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a sellout as well, doesn't it? 30,000 already sold.
It's on its way. The last time I looked at it was at 40,000.
Was it? Jesus.
So yeah. So it as it comes up and you get it posted on the men's social media 1 or 2 days before, all of a sudden it skyrockets because people there's a lot of fans that do bring their families to that game.
Yeah.
And it's a nice atmosphere. You've obviously got the fan marches from the toilet and all that kind of stuff. Like the whole block's behind the Arsenal bench. That block is our singing block. Obviously they're really noisy at Meadow Park, but at the Emirates it's not. You just can't hear them. It's just too big for them to make too much noise. But there is the songbook on the women's supporters group if you want to go and learn the songs. They're there. They're waiting for you. Go for it.
It's definitely something to look over the weekend with the international break. We'll be learning our lines for that one, I think. Ed, did you see any of the game yourself, the women's team against United?
I have to confess, this season I haven't seen much of them. I have been watching. I actually prefer the games when they were in Meadow. I hate to say this. I preferred the games when they were in Meadow Park. It was the women's team. It was just dominated there all the time. You'd always know that they went 1-0 up. The game was going to be won. And like the men's team at the Emirates, there's a little bit of pressure on the teams to perform more than they're going to. Like the men's team have had this pressure as well at the Emirates, where there's a requirement to perform to the big stadium, and it hasn't worked perfectly yet because there was a few games last season with the women's team where they could have, should have won at the home games that they played at the Emirates. And it's the growing thing up to the 30, 40, 50,000 people, and it's definitely going to be there back again. And there's so much injuries and changes. I haven't got the grip that Lottie has on it at all yet, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, the game is going to be live on BBC One on Sunday, and the women's football show that I watched straight after Match of the Day 2 is really worth a watch as well. Yeah, it's really come into its own in the last 2 seasons. Sky, BT, and BBC have they've really brought it out there.
I do warn you though, the refereeing decisions are a lot worse. None of our referees are full time; they're all part timers. Be warned.
Hence why there's so many red cards. Howard Webb, are you watching? Matt, did you see any of the game? I know you're
No,
you're a
I
keen
watched
watcher, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
Well, I watched some of the highlights. But look, Chloe's goal was just
Yeah.
what a hit! Absolutely beautiful. Like you say, any of the lads would be jealous of it. You know, it was absolutely beautiful. But look, I think from the ladies' point of view, I think Ed just brought it up there in relation to the crowds. You know, they've been, that extra pressure of having full stadiums at the Emirates. That'll come good. I think that'll come good. They get used to that. Week in, week out, they're selling out the Emirates. Be it 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. That is phenomenal when you consider where they were a couple of years ago. I think the way it's evolved is absolutely fantastic. And like you say, with BT getting involved and Sky Sports getting involved, it's just brilliant. I think from the ladies' point of view, I think going into the Champions League early was a bit of a shell shock. They weren't expecting that, and that kind of ran into the Liverpool game. There was a big crowd there, and they're expecting an awful lot. They were the better side against United the weekend. By far the better side from what the stats say, and they deserve so much more out of it. Look, I think it's absolutely phenomenal the way it's evolved. They've got a lot of players coming back now as well. I think Leah Williamson said the other day that she's going to be back in January, hopefully, after the ACL. So that's fantastic to see. She's an OBE now as well.
Yeah,
you've got Jonas tied down to a new contract now as well, which is great. So look, things are only looking up. We're a very, very strong side. We're obviously one of the favourites for the title there, like the men's team, and there is a couple of very strong sides. Though the way ladies football has evolved over the last few years, you see some, it's very, very competitive now, very competitive, and getting tougher and tougher. A couple of years ago, I'm sure you would have thought that you'd be playing Aston Villa on a Saturday and you'd put 4 past them, and there wouldn't be an issue. But every team is very strong. Ladies football has come on so well over the last few years, and it's fantastic to see. I hope they continue to get the big crowds that they're getting, and they'll adapt to that too. It is a huge thing to all of a sudden be playing in front of 30 or 40,000 people or 50,000 people. Look, I can only see things going really well for them this season. Maybe being out of Europe as well as, or maybe now the Champions League is maybe a blessing as well.
As Lottie said, the format for the Women's League is even more brutal than the men. The margins are so tight. Losing 2 or 3 games in the way that league is set up can be brutal, much more brutal. It's a really, really tough league, and there are no easy games. I know Reading but it's so tight in that league to move up and down.
Apart from Tottenham.
I think all
do you
the
think of them?
teams in the league are really improving year on year. It's not just the Chelseas ourselves. I think all of them are adding players now with quality, and it's really improving the league. I think there isn't really a bad team you could say in it to see. It's going to be a close run thing. I think this year. Look, with the addition of Russo, and if Lacazette keeps scoring down wonder goals, I think we're in safe hands, aren't we? Best of luck to the Arsenal women's team on Sunday. It's something to watch with the international break, so I think there'll be more. Hopefully, all the Arsenal fans will be behind them. I think they'll get a good bit of attention, I think, with the international break. Is there anything else you like mention, lads, on the show? It's been quite a busy one.
Oh, I think
on the agenda.
Yeah.
The Lawns game.
Sorry?
The Lawns game, or Lawns, whatever you want to call it.
I don't think there's much to say about that one. We lost 2-1, and I prefer to put that to the back of my mind. I think we'll move on to the Sevilla one in a couple of weeks' time. Is there anything supporters club wise you'd like mention, Matt, or anything?
No, the crowd's getting into the River Bar. Obviously, I wasn't in there on Sunday, but I've seen the pictures of the River Bar, and it was absolutely hopping again. We're going from strength to strength in there. The crowds are just phenomenal. There's a really, really young demographic in there now as well. You know, a lot of new gooners coming in. You know, people are coming in. You can get the day membership as such, where you get the cheap booze as well, which always helps. You know, and look, you know, the River Bar has always been a great venue for us for games. It's a big venue. You know, it's got TVs all over. It's got the big screen, and it's got a great atmosphere going on. So look, I just encourage anybody, if you're watching, you know, if you're on a loose end, come in. You know, it's right in the middle of town. All the buses go in. It's right on O'Connell Bridge. You can't miss it, and you're guaranteed a good atmosphere, regardless. Yeah. You know,
it'd
so
be great to have Lottie and Ozzy. You're more than welcome to come over anytime you'd like.
I am planning a trip over to Dublin next year, so definitely popping in now.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Hopefully Arsenal win on that weekend as well. I'd like to give a shout out as well to Carl Ozzy Osborne. I hope he's keeping well, and we miss him on the show. And I know he's hoping to be on, hopefully in the new year. So it'd be good to have him on. Shout out to him. Yeah, you can catch all our matches in the River Bar if you can't get a ticket. They're far and few between now, which is doing so well. So it's turned out to be a good season for the men's and women's. I'd like to thank my guests this evening, Matt Bourne. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it.
Ed Scanlon. Hopefully it won't be 6 months again, pal.
I'll bring my probation officer with me.
bring that curry sauce next time we're back. I'd like to thank Lottie Brown. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you. We'll be back Monday the 23rd of October for the review of the Chelsea game. Hopefully it's a victory we'll be reporting on, and also in the Women's Super League as well. So thanks for listening. Enjoy the show. Like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, have a good one. Cheers, lads.
Cheers,
Johnny.